Have you ever had a scary, unusual, or bizarre thought get stuck in your head? Maybe at first, it only showed up occasionally, but then keeps coming back until you can no longer imagine yourself not having it? Has one thought driven you mad, as you tried everything to get rid of it? Have you felt like your thoughts are controlling you and not vice versa? If you silently nodded hearing any of these questions, this video might be able to help you. In this video, we'll be discussing what you can do to take control of these intrusive thoughts that get in the way of your daily life. But how do you even begin to define intrusive thoughts? This is a complex issue that many people suffer from. Now, to define intrusive thoughts, one could say that they are unwanted words, phrases, images, or even sequences of images or mental movie clips that come to your mind, and cause a lot of discomfort or distress in which you just can't shake. These types of thoughts often feel like they just invade your mind, distract you from your day-to-day tasks, and urge you to do, say, or avoid things that you didn't used to. The idea of intrusion accurately captures the unwelcome nature of these thoughts and a person's perceived lack of control over these thoughts. These thoughts intrude on your life and try to distract you from the important things that matter to you the most by occupying your mind for extended periods of time. It is interesting that intrusive thoughts, by nature, are most likely to be at odds with your core values and personality. They also reflect a distorted version of reality that is in no way realistic or true. What's more, while you're likely to be capable of recognizing the fact that these thoughts don't really represent your reality, they are so powerful, terrifying, and disturbing, that you might find yourself struggling to rely on your perspective or the perspective of the people close to you in the moment. At some point, you begin to doubt your judgment and suspect that others don't see the situation as clearly as you do. In fact, scientific research suggests that almost everyone in the world experiences intrusive thoughts at some point in time. So, if you're one of the many who are facing the same problem, you're not alone in this. Intrusive thoughts are persistent, annoying, and energy draining. The sooner you learn to respond to them effectively, the more freedom and control you'll gain in your life. There are some simple techniques you can start using right away that'll help you overcome intrusive thoughts or simply not let them take control over you. To illustrate these tactics, let's imagine that you decide to throw a party. The room is full of the people you love, doing all the fun activities you enjoy. Sounds pretty good, right? You've worked very hard to organize this, and it's really important to you that this party goes smoothly. But then, imagine that there was a loud, obnoxious, and insensitive person, who you specifically did not invite, shows up to your party. This person is officially a party crasher who shows up uninvited and spoil everything. If you think about it, it becomes pretty clear that what party crashers want is attention. They want to have power to influence the room and interrupt any enjoyable activities. Even if the attention they receive is negative, they still love it. Party crashers love it when the attention in the room switches to them. They love getting a response from the people. What they really want is to influence the room, see the impact. They enjoy this power of making people do what they want them to do, whether it's following their advice or going where they want them to do. Now, what are your options when someone like this crashes your party? Let's review some of them. Here's the first option. The party crasher is headed to your house. You can see them on your porch, so you rush to the door and try to hold it shut so they can't get in. What would be the outcome? You know this party crasher is extremely annoying and completely insensitive. They won't take a hint to leave, and they want your attention. As a result, they will continue to bang on your door, begging you to let them in. They will be distracting you from the party as you're dealing with them and make all the guests pay attention to them. So, after all that effort, you would have still had to listen to the party crasher anyway. Second, the party crasher achieves what they wanted in the first place. They get your full attention and the ability to pull you away from your guests and party. And finally, because of that, even if they never actually set foot in the door, they're likely to come back again next time. Now, let's look at a second scenario. Let's say the party crasher made it inside and is shouting all sorts of scary or bizarre things, so you hurry over to them to confront them. Maybe, in order to avoid making a scene, you pull them into a corner to just hear them out so that, hopefully, they'll leave. And while you were initially annoyed, maybe they start to sound more convincing the more you hear. They tell you that there's something very urgent and important that you absolutely must hear. Even though their story sounds a little crazy, it gets your attention and you start asking questions. And then you get sucked in, either agreeing with what they're saying or vehemently arguing against them. When it's too late, you realize that the story they told had no relevance whatsoever to your life, and you end up missing the party as you spend your evening listening to what they have to say. What's more frustrating, You know they will be back next time, because they already know you will listen to what they say and pay attention to them. It doesn't matter how, but as long as they achieve their goal, they're happy. To summarize, either of the two scenarios we've discussed where you try to force this person out or engage with them to listen to what they have to say leads to the same outcome. You give the party crasher your attention and allow them to gain influence over your party, the party they weren't even invited to. By engaging with them in any way, you're giving the party crasher exactly what they want. However, there is another way that does not involve locking doors or having long conversations trying to convince them to leave. Let's imagine this. The party crasher made it inside your house. They're walking around, talking and laughing loudly, trying to get some food from the table, pouring themselves some drinks. You're probably feeling panic and anxiety. You feel that your party is that close to being ruined. But, you gather yourself, you acknowledge you've seen them, and you ignore them completely. Whenever they try to talk to you, you simply leave to speak with one of your friends. You don't offer them anything at all. If they want something, let them take it, but don't rush in to give them a plate. What you're doing in this case is the opposite of what they want. You're not engaging with them. They don't have your attention, because you're giving it to the people you care about. You continue to do what you wanted to do at the party. You chat with your friends, offer them some snacks, maybe play some games. In other words, by acknowledging and ignoring you get to stay engaged with what you care about. What will the party crasher do? At first, naturally, they'll get louder, more obnoxious, more persistent. They will try different ways to catch your attention, by trying to tell you crazy stories, shouting louder, maybe even dropping stuff. But if you continue ignoring them, you'll start to notice soon enough they are getting quieter, going to the kitchen to grab some water, disappearing to the bathroom, and then, eventually, they'll leave. And they might still show up at parties in the future, but probably less frequently, and they may leave quicker when they see nothing is changing. Now, let's transition to the idea of intrusive thoughts from this example. Of course, as you've probably guessed already, the party crasher is a metaphor for intrusive thoughts. And the party, it's your life, with all the great experiences, emotions, and relationships. Like that party crasher, intrusive thoughts are loud, they are obnoxious, and they seem to demand your undivided attention. What's more, intrusive thoughts bring all the negative feelings to the party of your life. Like the party crasher, they make you worry, feel anxiety, fear, disgust, guilt, and shame. Just like you'd feel if the unpleasant uninvited guests arrived at the party to distract you and bother your friends. But intrusive thoughts are also sneaky. They want you to feel like you're alone against them. Like the party crasher, they certainly won't tell you they've been visiting your neighbors and only stay for the attention and sense of importance they might get, for fear that you'll catch on. As they arrive, intrusive thoughts will always demand your attention and try to give you orders, making you behave the way they want you to behave and do things they want you to do. Their purpose is to occupy your mind completely and as long as they possibly can. But, as we've seen from the example with the party crasher, no matter how you engage with them, they won't go away. If you confront them and try to forcefully make them leave, they will continue banging on your door and begging you to listen to them. If you engage with the intrusive thought even for a little bit, hoping that they will leave as soon as they get what they want, it won't work either. Once they have your attention, they'll hold onto it as long as possible, whether you're agreeing with them, arguing with them, or trying to drag them out the door. The best way to deal with intrusive thoughts, as we've learned from the example, is to acknowledge and ignore. Yes, you can acknowledge you had a weird thought without trying to block it or urgently and extensively engaging with it. Focus on what you need to do and pay as much attention as you can to your immediate tasks, the real things you need or want to do. So, what we've learned so far is we've looked at the intrusive thoughts by comparing them with an image of an unwanted guest at your party. We've learned that intrusive thoughts are loud, obnoxious, and demand your full attention. However, we've also seen that the best way to deal with them is to acknowledge they're there and ignore them instead of engaging with them or trying to force them to leave. Whether you're curious about the phenomenon of intrusive thoughts or want to better manage your own, you'll find something valuable in a quieter mind. Hope this helps, and let's catch up in the next one.